Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the EDM Grid Podcast. My name is Henry, also known as Henkray. We are joined by Oswald once again.
I'm back, let's
back.
go. Yeah.
He's not finished moving, but he's getting there, so I'm very happy.
Yeah,
How's the moving process?
As you can see, well, it's been, I can say that, it's been...
Valid?
I don't know how to say that, because it's very troublesome and hard, but here, so yeah.
Well, enough about us now, because we need to talk about a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to KERO?
KERO, yeah.
KERO.
I've always...
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put this one to bed, I guess. I've always said hero. I kind of thought of it like the word hero, but with a K. That's not where it came from. We can get into where my alias came from, but yeah, KERO. That's how I've always said
KERO.
it.
Okay. There's a running gag on this that I can't pronounce things properly.
I get it.
So congrats.
Yeah.
No, people have been asking me this for a bit, and when I was first making music and using this alias, I was never that worried about people pronouncing my name because, to be honest, I didn't think people would be saying it out loud at all. So, you know what? I guess it's a good problem to have.
Well, here we are now, and you're giving
actually,
a struggling person struggling to get names. So, you know what? Here we are. I wanted to ask you to start the episode off. Color bass has been a very unique style in EDM. It has been quite popular now for quite some time. I wanted to know, what was your main inspiration for becoming a color bass artist?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Starting off, I like to start off with a difficult question. Get you thinking.
Right into the weeds. Also, don't mind
Great icebreaker,
floating at Lost Lands here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the initial conceptions of my project, I guess I'll start from the beginning, I guess. I was working on bass music over the pandemic, pretty much like 2020, that period of time when we were first initially all locked in our houses. I was in my second year of college in Berkeley, and we had just gotten sent home because, safety.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting in my childhood bedroom. I had just turned 20. I had just finished my second year of school, and I was like, okay, now what do I do? I had tried launching a little bass music project before, in the very underground, future collective-y, future-based realm. And there were some ambitious ideas, but I didn't have the technological, knowledge to really back up the production that I was trying to put out into the world. It was kind of all ideas, no craft, for lack of a better term. Yeah, so I started working on music, and I was like, I want to learn how to make bass music. I want to learn how to mix it in a pleasing way that I can appreciate and enjoy. And where did I start? I was going down every VR and AU5 tutorial, especially those AU5 ones, under the sun that whole summer, just combing the internet for anything I could find, really just trying to get better at it and learn mixing and just trial by fire. I have nothing better to do than to sit in my room and make music right now because there's literally nothing else I can do. And interestingly enough, that's when I stumbled across, I was becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Disciple at the time because this was back in their real heyday back in 2020. And, what was happening then? The biggest remix contest ever, I think that's what they called it. And who were the people that were, really notable from that remix contest? I remember hearing the Skybreak remix of Parachute and the Sharks remix of You're Gonna Love Me by Eliminate. And those two songs, I was like, wait a minute, this is a thing you can do? And then I kind of found Rushdown and Color Bass backwards because I heard that remix and checked it out and went, wow, first of all, this Skybreak one is going to win. Who is this guy? Who is this artist? Who are all these people? And I fell right into the rabbit hole because for most of my life, I was not a DJ. I was not an electronic music producer. I was a classical pianist and composer. I had been writing music since I was like a young child. Like in my first heavy air quotes on this piece of music was when I was like 6 years old. But I was like piano first. I wanted to be in film scoring. I wanted to do like orchestral stuff, video game scoring. That's where I wanted to be.
Subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah, we'll get there. And, you know, that's what I went to school for, is I wanted to do, you know, music for media. That was always where I wanted to be. And then I found electronic music when I was there. And then as I was sitting at home, I found color bass and I went, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been wanting to see. Like, I've been waiting for musicality to be intertwined with the sound design that I've loved listening to so much. But you know, I've always been like, man, this would be so cool if there was just more of a melody involved. And for a while, future bass was that answer, or like melodic dubstep, you know, the classics. And I think eventually, like, seeing what these artists were doing, I immediately was like, okay, all hands on deck. I want to try to make this now. This is what I want to do. Like, I remember the moment I was like, okay, this is so cool. I want to try to make stuff like this. And I slowly began to evolve my sound. I started releasing at I'd say end of 2020. My first release was for Cosette. I don't know if you all know the hyperpop artist. She was a buddy of mine from Berkeley, and I did a remix of her track. And I just kept putting out songs that were, you know, just very boxed into certain genres. And then I think around 2021, I did a remix of Skybreak and Cascuda Above the Clouds because they had stems available. And that was my first stab at really doing like kind of the color bassy sound design that I was after. And for the next 6 months, I tried to hone in on that sound and perfect it. And I think the first song that really started to sound like what KERO was in terms of color base was Glow, which was that Discord. The irony is that I did the Discord contest that Sharks and Skybreak were hosting after discovering their music about that time last year from the Disciple remix contest that they both won. So it was kind of like a nice full circle moment there. And once I did that, it got second place. Well, kind of. I got second place. Kamicon won because, for those of you who don't know, Kamicon is insanely talented. But it was still cool enough for Skybreak to reach out to me on Discord and be like, hey, do you have any other IDs that you're working on? Like, I'm reaching out. Rushdown's putting together a new compilation. What songs do you have? And I went, I have this demo. And that was Rushdown. Or, sorry, that was Rainforest. And from then on, that was it. I was sold.
So how quickly was that from you starting the project to then getting that? Because that seems like a pretty big pretty quick turnaround for the start of the project to then featuring on Rushdown.
Yeah, that was kind of a whirlwind. 2021 was insane. I think because I started the project October of 2020. That's when I released the first track. But I was working on those songs like starting in like May or June. I was doing an audio engineering internship back home, and I was using my free time to, you know, between sessions and helping with, you know, mic prep and all that stuff, I was making some of the early conceptions of what the KERO tracks would eventually turn into. And, you know, it's funny, like I have a lot of like nostalgia for that time period. I don't love a lot of the music I was making back in 2020, but it got me to where it eventually led to. And so I'm grateful that I had that time to really figure out what I wanted to do. But yeah, the turnaround time was about a year.
Are there any unreleased songs from back there that you just have still in the vault that you've just never released?
Oh, man. You know what? I bet I could scroll my SoundCloud uploads and probably find something. Nothing's jumping out on the top of my head, Oh man, I don't want to take too long doing this because this will be quite a roll.
Yeah, no.
Just
I do have a mini version of the initial rainforest idea that sounds not
oh
fantastic.
my god.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
With a couple other ideas I was working on at the time that never, they never made it into the world. But
Do you have any ideas that you sort of wish you could get put out but just never happened?
I think one of them, there was this idea at the end of my very first ID showcase I ever did that people really wanted to hear. It was like temp named Digital Love for a while, and I never could put it out because this is embarrassing. I had a bad habit of my laptops being drowned in water. And so I want to try to...
In water? Wait, what?
I basically spilled water in my MacBook, and I got to keep like 25% of the files that were on that hard drive. Somehow Rainforest made it out. I don't know how, but that project file is still there, but some of the other ecosystem tracks just didn't make it.
It's pretty good how that one was the one that was actually there, and it sort of kick-started you being on Rushdown and sort of spiraling into what would later come. That's actually funny.
Yeah, no, it was a miracle, dude. Damn.
I have this one actually that is here. Let me pull it up. This is the ID. People have been asking for it, and I want to remake it because a lot of the drums.
Oh my god, we're gonna.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. This is a first.
This is a first.
It's essentially just a dub plate at this point because I can't access the original file, so I would just download it from here and hand it out. But I want to try to reuse this melody for something. I want to try to remake this, but I'll play it through if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
That era.
Damn.
Am I sharing sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when I used erosion on pianos. Ugh.
Erosion. Where the vocals from?
Yeah, the drums.
So silly.
Yeah.
Very futuristic. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was my attempt at a Halcyon thing. That's one that didn't make it. But most of the stuff from that, that time period of initially getting on Rushdown did make it out into the world eventually. Some of it way later than I thought. Like the Court Zone collab was started then, like right after I joined Rushdown. And that came out last year. So some of these tracks took a while to make it into the world. Man, that one sounds so dated. It's like kind of to me because it's been enough time. It's like, I was so.
I mean, 3 years. It's been time, yeah.
You can notice all of your mistakes as well, like a lot more intricately. Once you know how it was made, and then you could go, I was so stupid. Then why didn't I do this?
I mean, but that's kind of cool though, because you can see how much you've progressed.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, because I've taught a lot of private lessons with students over the years, and a lot of the things they have, brought up is they're like, oh, you keep all of your old tracks there. Like, how do you not get embarrassed? And I'm like, because I like people to see the progression. I don't like to pretend that one day I just woke up and had everything figured out the way I wanted it to be. Like, it's a process. And sometimes people don't get to see that process, sometimes for like branding reasons. But if you look at artists like Space Laces, who are some of the most well-respected dubstep producers in the scene, he keeps his old stuff from like 2010 out there on SoundCloud. Like all of it is still available. And I think it's really special when people do that because they get to see the artist process and the growth from one thing to the next. I think that is, I don't know why you would want to take that away. Like there are people who love tracks that I think are super dated. I'm not going to take that away from them just because I think I can do better now. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, every track is valuable. Wait, that's true.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the one if I were to revisit, I would. It's not the first time though. Like I've revisited a couple ideas in my past and completely reinvented them. No one knows this, but Flora was an old song from my previous alias that never released.
So is it,
And it was an
how long ago was that then?
Previous.
Oh man, I started that in 2019.
Ooh.
So it was the year before.
6 years ago. Yikes.
Yeah, we're all getting old. We're getting old.
Ecosystem is 3 years old. That whole project has been out for 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I wanna
That's just
ask
nuts.
you,
Wow.
if you could change something from back then, not if you regret, because I hate. Do you regret something from the past? But if you could change something, knowing what you know now, what would you change from what you were doing back then?
In
Would
terms
you
of
even
like
change
the music I was making?
Anything?
Philosophically, I want to say no, but yes. Okay, like I think, and it's not. I think a lot of the ideas were really, they're really valuable to getting me where I am. But I'll never forget. I think I've talked about this before. Like when I was first releasing my EP in 2022 on Rushdown, AU5 had just released Cryptochrome on that label, and so he was a part of the network of people that are associated, and he had my contact info, and he just cold DM'd me, actually. Also some foreshadowing he DM'd me on Facebook Messenger and was like, hey, to be honest, I'm terrible at checking that app. I never use it. I don't really have a Facebook. I used it to join like certain club groups in college, but not really for anything else.
Must have been thankful you were checking your messages that one day.
No, truly, I was so happy because he went, hey, do you mind if I love your EP? Do you mind if I give you some mix feedback on some of these songs? And I was like, do I mind?
What? AO5? Damn.
And I was like,
A5
please.
is such a cool guy. He's so
Within
nice.
minutes, I get like a book of just the best info I have ever heard about mix feedback. He was talking about things like DC offset, but more importantly, his big thing for me was make sure that the sub levels of your kick match the sub levels of your sub. In general, your sub could be louder in the balance. And it was like right after I released the project too, and this was right after I had the laptop incident and I couldn't access some of those files, so I was like, I guess I carry this with me forever now. And that was so inspiring to be like, guess I'm gonna try this out and see how it makes my music sound. And I think that's why there's such a stark jump in mix quality, in my opinion, from Ecosystem to Neon. Like those two projects have a very different level of clarity to them, I think. So to answer your question, would I change anything? Not in terms of like the ideas, I would let them be, but mixdown wise, I would balance the kicks better. Like for sure.
There's always stuff in the mix that you can fix. Yeah, just write it down. Subs of kicks and sub basses. Taking notes
it
right
was something
here.
I had never thought of. It's fantastic advice because
it really is.
You don't want your kicks to not feel like they impact the track enough. And the way to do that is to make sure the low end of your kick and the low end of your bass are both hitting loud enough. I think the closest one he said was like Ecosystem and Rainforest. Those two are like the closest, but Flora especially, I know the drums on that track are lacking punch. the version of Flora I play out now is one where I've replaced the kick and snare
Oh.
in the track, and the rest of
Damn.
it, yeah.
Not good enough. Yeah.
Well, it's more just for the live environment. It's almost kind of like a VIP edit at that point. But I think, yeah, I wouldn't change much about ecosystem, because those songs they're so ambitious. There's so many ideas going on in those tracks. Like, they're so maximalist. You could tell I was just so excited to be like doing, like, pushing color base as far as I could with some of the sound design, that I was like, the Ableton sessions looked monstrous. I don't do that now as much, but
Oh my god, yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, you're an
Yeah, I
Ableton
think-
user.
yes, I don't know if that came up yet, but I am
No.
an Ableton user.
Well,
I use Ableton.
I mean, yeah.
I use Logic for things. I do want to say I use Logic for things that are more orchestral or variation and tempo oriented, because the automation in there is incredible. I've used Reaper for game audio stuff. I kind of use a lot. I started with FL, so I've kind of been all around. I kind of know how
Okay.
most of them work at this
Yeah,
point.
me and Oswald are on our FL stage right now. We are currently
Our
FL users.
I've been stuck on my FL stage for like 6 years.
Hey, FL is
Oh.
incredible. Like, some of the best producers in the game are using FL constantly.
Yeah,
I don't understand why
Fair
people
enough.
sometimes give FL a lot of flack. I never got that.
Which-
but-
But which one would you think, since you've pretty much been all around, which one do you think it's the best? Like,
it depends on what it's
no
for.
discussion.
Like,
Right.
if we're talking like EDM, I'm so partial to Ableton because of the stock plugins that are included. Like, you get stock OTT, grain delay is incredible, Ableton effect racks are amazing and so easy to modulate.
Oh, that too, yes.
Operator is a synth that I used so much that I named a song after it. Like,
That's valid.
Ableton is
That's
great.
actually a fire, yeah. I'm gonna name my next track Serum. Actually,
I mean,
yeah,
I
that's
tied it in. I was doing a lot of like very Space Lacy inspired phone tap sound design for Operator, and I was using Operator to do it. I was like, that's the track name. I'm not calling it anything else. But I use Wavetable for my supersaws all the time. Granulator is magical. That did a lot of good work on the Snowblind remix. And I think that, you know, they all serve different purposes. But for me, my workflow is fastest in Ableton, especially if I'm making like dance music. Like, that's just what I default to if I have to.
Yeah.
So you never use FL
Alright.
then. It's just weeping in the corner, neglected
You've
from
matured.
all the other
Hey.
ones.
FL has a really good way of doing automation that I like. The way that it's like on its own track. Like, the way that the tracks work in FL is super interesting. The piano roll is the best part about it.
That's kinda
I
like
do think
building
FL's
blocks.
piano roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the hard thing with FL for me is keeping it organized. I would have a nightmare because I'm the
Yeah,
kind of
man.
producer who uses the same template and color scheming on every song, like every single song. So I
That's
love Ableton for that.
I
Does
wanna-
it look like Excel? Yes. I still love it.
Looks like Excel is actually, that's slanderous. That is crazy. I wanna move on now to some more recent stuff of yours, because there's very much a lot to talk about. You've seen the plan which I have for this episode. I wanted to talk about liquid data.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was probably my first big sort of, oh, this guy is really, really good, because I listened to a lot of Monster Cat, Tokyo Machine, just naturally defaulted onto Trompo. What was that like? Because you did say previously you always knew that it was a track which you wanted to be on Trompo.
Wait, out of curiosity, not to derail this, is Liquid Data how you found out about my project?
I think so, yes.
Wow, that's so cool. Because, man, first of all, getting to write a song with Chime after the 3 years of being involved with Rushdown, getting my first single, second single, and then the EP, having, Chime play out my stuff, it was just such a cool full circle moment to actually work on a song together and then play it out. Liquid Data was an ID that I made actually for something else. It was the initial sound design jam from it was part of my interdimensional radio takeover back when Chime and Ace Aura had that Insomniac radio show for a bit. And I did a guest mix for one of those, and I needed to pad out the runtime. I think they were going to have someone else take over, and it fell through, and they were like, Trey, can you please make a mix for this? You have 24 hours.
Oh,
I was like,
damn.
all right, I'm gonna throw every ID I have at it and try to transition it. And I needed to pad out the runtime with another ID. So I was like, all right, I'll make one idea for this and just polish it up and make it pretty. And that was the initial conception of Liquid Data, which is out, and you could hear it on the interdimensional radio, that's where it was from. So soon after that, Chime reached out and was like, I would love to collab with you. I was like, I have this ID that I made that I have no idea what to do with. It's just some weird sound design-y stuff. It's not very formulated into anything. I'd love to see what you can do. And Chime took it and went, all right, we're gonna make it a 16th note shuffle, and we're gonna use a tiny snare. I was like, perfect. And then I made the third drop. Chime did a lot of work on the second drop, and that track came together so fast. So with regards to Chompo, I think there was another situation where Chime was like, I need a song for this. Trey, I'd love for you to hop on this with me. And I just kind of took the opportunities as they came, really.
Was you very much involved then in the sort of releasing of that? Because the compilation, I have a lot of songs from that compilation saved. It has Guy Arthur, MDK, Panda Eyes, Tokyo Machine as well.
James Landino, right?
James Landino, yes. Desert Gamer.
Yep.
Was it very cool to sort of see your project also involved with some of these other names, which were have been very much established in the scene for a very long time?
Imagine if he just says no.
No, these guys are.
Nah. Was it cool? Of course it was.
What was it like?
It was insane. I think the really cool thing is what we got to do for the art direction. I think Chime had a really specific idea of what we wanted to try for the art, and I was on board with a lot of it, but I got some input on what the little characters would look like. Like the final Liquid Data art makes me super happy. I think you've seen it, right? Yeah. Where it's got both of us facing backwards, the little backpack. Let me pull this up here.
With the giant robot in the middle.
Yeah, it was cool to see that, just kind of from a theoretical perspective here, me standing next to, it was an artistic drawing, but literally standing next to the person that ran the label that inspired me to make this project next to me on the platform was kind of insane. And we got to literally have that moment at Lost Lands. Not this one. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
This is a live feed behind me. But yeah, we got to play it out in front of all those people. I was so nervous on the mic. It's so funny when I watch that video back. But it was surreal. That whole experience was amazing. And that was the first time I got to meet AU5 too, was at that festival. So a lot of good came from this song.
How many people did you actually meet at that festival then?
A lot.
That's
lot.
fair.
Many people.
At this point, I've met a lot of the Rushdown crew that was really heavily involved. I've met Paper Skies, Ace Aura. I've met I don't know if y'all know Landon Remixes, who is also managing most of these artists. I've met him a bunch of times from there. We met up with, I think, more Kismet for a bit, all kinds of people. I keep telling Convexity, I was like, I really want you to go to Lost Lands with me at one point, because so many people are there. Mike Shift, Space Yeti, God,
Loads of people.
more.
Just
Yeah,
loads
it's
of
hard to
people
like
in the
name.
community.
I met Naughty Step in the crowd, and he
Oh,
knew
Oh wow.
he knew who I was and foreshadowed to me that he would rank the Neon EP so highly on his end of year review in 2023 at Lost Lands, which was nuts. He was just like, dude, keep it up. You're doing crazy stuff. I was like, you're not real. I only see you on YouTube. This isn't real.
Like,
Just
I'm dreaming
randomly.
or something. Yeah.
Did he come up to you, or did you come up to him?
I think we were all just kind of like, after I played Liquid Data, I came out of the backstage and saw the stage from the crowd. Because also I was getting video of my friend DNAKM, Donna Kim. She was doing some live vocal performing for their show, and I was gonna film it out there on my iPhone. And he was just hanging out with everybody that was in this, little group. It was cool to see the Rushdown family like kind of translate from like a very online space to like in person. We spent the whole weekend together, and it was really cool.
Man.
Sounds like you had
In
a,
weekend.
had a
That's
great
pretty
time.
sweet. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
going up on the mic as well, and sort of being in front of so many people, just like, oh damn, these are all listening to my music, my project.
If you watch that
I'm just
video,
watching
I'm
that.
freaking out the whole time. Like, I do not look like a normal person.
I'm gonna
Naturally,
watch back
like-
that video afterwards, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, look at him. Like, yeah, he's so
It
nervous
was
the
also a couple
entire
of years
time.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna now
Liquid
talk
Data
about.
was great.
Yeah, very very good song. Again, this is how I knew you from it. So it was very
Thank you.
cool to see that full circle moment when this was the first moment you met AU5. Coolest segue of all time. The song that has been absolutely
Yo.
popping off for you is super good. I where is it? It's somewhere up there on like top artist this month, and it's 8th. I've been listening to it quite a lot.
Wait, top artist on where?
Top tracks of this
On-
month, and it's 8th on the
I appreciate
ranking.
that.
I love it. It's really good. Please tell me how it happened, because it's just
Yeah.
incredible.
So this is one of the most recent things I've made, actually. So this is the closest thing to the newer sound that I'm kind of going towards, that's out in the world. God, a song like Snowblind, like I'm sure, as you can imagine, something that iconic, something that like
Well known in the
like
community.
name recognition for like AU5's project and Tasha's as well. Like, I almost didn't know what to do. Like, he reached out and was like, "Hey, this is an Instagram DM, so thankfully I saw this one." And he was like, "Hey, I have this, I'm putting together this compilation. I would love for you to be one of the remixers of Snowblind." And I was like, "Yes, all the way, yes, please, 1,000 times. Thank you, amazing." And I got the stems and then promptly downloaded them and put them in my computer. And I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do though? How do I remix this song?" Like, if somebody had asked me to remix this song or something by like Skrillex even, I would be like, guys, I don't know what to do, because I love the song.
Perfect. Yeah.
I was like, I can't make this better dubstep than it is, and it's over 10 years old. Like the sound design, I'm using those growls like in the drops raw some of the time because they're still so good. And I was like, man, first of all, I'm not the only person that he's asked to do this remix. So there's going to be other dubstep artists on this who are also going to do really cool dubstep things. And I was like,
Let me pull up the list. You got Temanite and Nasco, Nufari, Cloud9,
Vultra, and
yes,
Mplex?
Mplex, Xylent.
right? Like, come on, dude. Oh yeah, and Modus won the competition, which was super sick with the Gente.
Yeah.
And I think I looked at this and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do here? So I did something that I kind of always try to do with every song, not to go to a side tangent too hard or anything, but something I've always really strived for is to never make the same song twice. Right? Like, if I'm going to make a new track, I want it to be vastly different. And looking at my discography starting in 2021, you can kind of see that that's where I was really trying to head towards. Obviously, EPs will have similar sounds to them, but like in the last couple of years, Liquid Data is like a straight ahead color-based track with a lot of micro droppiness to it. Stay Forever is a house record. Push the Sound is Square 4. I Don't Care is basically an R&B track with a drop. Same with Waiting, kind of. I really think that every song I try to do feels, or should feel, like vastly different from the last thing. I never want to just keep doing the same thing. Is that, like a lot of people say, if you're making an artist career, be consistent, always, like, you know, define your sound, make your brand, do the same thing. Like, people want to know you for you. And I agree with that to a point, but I'd like to think that my sound can traverse genres and people will understand. Or at least that's the hope, right? So with this track, I was like, I've never done Speed House. Why not? I was like, the song has such an anthemic vocal. Something so like straight ahead housey would be super cool. And what I've always tried to do is when I branch out to new genres like this is I sprinkle in the color-based sauce wherever I can. Right, so even though it's like a house drop, there's these little fills that have like chord qualities to them, and even the second drop has a bit of tonality to it, even though it's a little heavier for me. So this came about, this was not one of those songs that I finished really quickly. It took a lot of work to get this one to where I really wanted it sounding good. Part of it was the nerves, and part of it was just wanting to do something super different. And a lot of the stuff that's been inspiring me is a lot of the cool stuff I've been seeing in like bass house, a lot of the cool stuff I've been seeing in like the more trap leaning genres. Those are really cool. And then the last drop, I kind of treated it as like, all right, I will do the KERO micro drop with color sounds because, you know, honoring where I came from, I guess. And so I think that there's, you know, this song was just a lot of me kind of being like, well, if I'm going to remix this song, I'm going to use every part of my artist project's journey and throw it into one track, basically. All like the newer house stuff I'm doing, the heavier trappy stuff, and I still keep the color base in the back whenever it needs to come out, basically. So this was just my way, and I feel like that was the only way you could honor a track of this size, like in terms of like scope, right? Like this track is kind of a larger than life thing that everybody knows. So it had to be given something equal in scale, I think.
I'm guessing it's also nice to see sort of how you've progressed in the past couple years, then be translated onto a song that's so iconic and is now also blowing up, which you said before recording you didn't know why it was happening. just a shrug. just absolutely no idea.
Like I have theories, but it's about, you know, it's more than that. Like, numbers aside, the public reception I've gotten for this track, like people reaching out being like, this is my favorite track from you in years, and it's like, wow, that's really cool. Because, you know, numbers are great, numbers are cool and all that, but at the end of the day, you don't want to attach yourself to that because you don't want to feel like a worse artist because the numbers are lower, and you don't want to feel like a better artist because the numbers are higher. I look more for like, what is the, you know, what do the fans of my work care about? Like, like how is it being received? And people are like a lot of the things I've been hearing are like, this is my favorite track from you in like a while. I love the interesting direction you took. Like it sounds like you had a great time making this. And it was like, yeah, that's what I want people to think.
Yeah, it was
a lot
very
of these
unique
records.
for the compilation as well. Like, I think New Fury's remix was very unique, doing 180 progressive trance.
Well, that's new for you. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're gonna come out of the box and just do something crazy like that. That's not surprising.
Modus and Agente as well. It was actually really cool because we did an episode with them to go check it out, all of that sort of stuff. At the end, when we were talking about his favorite tracks, he said Snowblind as one of the tracks. And so then when the remix compilation came out, I messaged him being like, that's actually such a cool full circuit moment for him to be like, this is one of my favorite tracks of all time. Here's a remix compilation and you're on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
No.
yeah, throwback. That's amazing.
That's so cool. I was
it's-
so happy for Modus to get that opportunity, and for Agente too. Like, those two are doing that style the best I've seen.
Definitely.
Like that kind of cinematic dubstep approach. They're doing it in such a cool way.
I also the Snowblind Legacy as well is just incredibly cool from a fan's perspective, seeing so many different styles of artists as well come together.
Right.
Like
They
Cloud9
went
is a chill
crazy on the track list.
Cloud9, a chill sort of house producer, and then you got Temanite, which is one of my personal favorite artists of all times. It's
will
just so
say-
cool to see so many styles come together for one compilation.
On the
For a
compilation,
song so unique.
my favorite
Yeah.
out of all of them is the Temanite Nasco one. But, you know, everything Nasco does is always mixed to perfection, and Temanite specifically is another one of those artists that I'm just like, you put so much good musicality and personality into your music. Like, you are doing amazing stuff. Like, just the little attention to detail stuff with his runs, like the pitch bends that he'll add on his notes. Like, Temanite is one of the best, and it was insane to share like a track list with people like this, and Xylent too. It just kind of blew my mind.
Definitely. I want to talk now about the future of KERO as a project, because you've definitely achieved some things. I'd say just a couple of things here and there, not too much. What is now for the future of KERO? What are you planning to do? Do you have anywhere
Well-
that you're going to release to, or is it just take it sort of how it comes?
I've always been a very take it how it comes kind of person, but I think it's been 5 years now, or it will be 5 years in a couple weeks. I want to see what's next in terms of like news. I've been working a lot on just creating tons of new whips. Like, I'm the kind of producer, at least nowadays in my career, where I spin ideas out really fast. And that's how I started. I'm kind of going back to what I did when I first made this project, which was just spin out a bunch of ideas and just try a little bit of everything, look at all of it, and see where I want to go. And it's been a very, refreshing time period. There's a couple things that are slated to come out that are really cool. I've got some unreleased records that are, collabs and or remixes that I think will be really fun as they come out. But for now, I've been doing yearly EPs since the start of this project, basically. Like 2022, I had Ecosystem, then I had the Neon era, then the Push the Sound era, then we had the Convexity and KERO stuff, which that kind of felt like a gift to the fans in a way, to kind of be like, here's all of the 2022 sound design you've missed from us in 2025 before we pivot to, doing other things. For myself, KERO's not going anywhere. I hope people know that. But I don't know if I'm going to stick to the EP format. I want to do something a little bigger. I've been working towards some bigger, I want to do a more full-scale project. I've been in this, alias for 5 years. I want to try to say something with it. And seeing friends of mine release albums and rebrands and all different sorts of things, I think I'm at the stage where I finally,
First album?
I finally think I have.
Oh my god, yeah, that's so
First
hype.
album?
Debut album. Yeah.
I didn't say that. Basically.
Yeah, no, you didn't hear it from you.
Yeah.
Of course.
But I'm not really looking towards. I'm not looking towards a ton of labels for a ton of things, except for the occasional single or collab. And there's some cool opportunities with that that'll be coming. But I've been focusing on really trying to figure it out what it is that I want. I'm gonna keep releasing some stuff though, like off the back of this AU5 remix. I think I've been working on a couple remixes that were initially intended just for live show use that I think I'm gonna put out as free downloads. I think, maybe this month, maybe next month, you'll see a couple remixes from me that'll be really fun. And I want to kind of keep people knowing that I'm continuing to work on stuff. And I haven't put anything out on my own SoundCloud myself, unlabel touched, since 2023. So
Okay.
I haven't done a personal SoundCloud upload in so long, and I really want to do that because there's a couple remixes and edits that I really think would be cool to put out, or just like free download singles that I think would be really interesting. But I am looking towards a more full-scale project, something a bit bigger than an EP that really kind of encapsulates what I want to do. And like I want to make like a real statement with my project.
But we didn't hear it from you. We didn't hear it from you.
No.
Didn't hear it from you. No.
You
The
did
voices
not.
in my head told me that.
Well, I also don't know what form it's gonna take. I know there's like is it an album? I'm not sure. It's still in its amorphous stage. There's a lot of, things to be decided about what it's gonna look like, how it's all gonna come to fruition, but I'm thinking I want to give that the time it needs. Next year will be really fun. So I think in terms of
Yeah, watch out for KERO 2026.
Yeah, I'll be stalking your SoundCloud page, by the way. I hope you know this. I'm clicking refresh, seeing what's on there.
I'll be doing
Looking every day.
I also
Yeah.
do want to I've been hearing a lot of recent stuff. Like some of the KERO tracks I've been putting out occasionally lean in a kind of poppy direction. I have some edits of some vaguely poppier songs that I think are really fun that I could put out. Like, expect more self-releases from me, I think is the big takeaway here, because I've been so on the rush down into Circus, into Ophelia, into, Circus again, like that label train over and over, that I'm excited to put some stuff out on my own. And this kind of coincides with, I have some, on top of like doing a bigger thing for KERO, I have some other side projects that are really beginning to take some shape that I'm super excited about, that are very out of left field. I'm working more in the game audio space, and I want to get more into that too. So it's kind of it's a bit of a reflective time to kind of be like, let myself create sans pressure of you need to get an EP done, and just, really try to say something meaningful. That's what's next, I think.
Speaking of game
Nice.
audio, the last topic of the video.
We have the best
Segues are
We actually have
Yeah,
the best
right?
segues in this podcast. You will never hear anything similar to this in any other podcast. No,
Yeah.
you have been working on Fortnite for how long has it been? How long has it been?
About
for
8
you?
months.
About
10 months.
Oh,
10 months.
That's
Damn.
also a big part of why I'm trying to take not a step back from the EP grind of KERO, but because I have a new like offshoot of my career now that I'm doing.
Side quest.
video game music.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like
Um,
getting into that? How did you get into that opportunity in the first place?
That's a great question. I'll round that back around to back when I was at college. What I was studying was, video game composition and music for media. And I took that, very seriously, because until 2022, I didn't really have any label prospects of any kind. And I thought my way in the door in the music industry would be through game audio, because that was my first love. I will always cherish that. I think you can kind of hear that influence in some of my music. Like the kind of arcs I use are very arcade game coded, very 8-bit kind of stuff. And I think I found this opportunity because in college I was, this is a bit of a weird lore drop, I was the president of the video game music club at Berkeley for a year.
Fire!
And that is
that's amazing. That's a awesome
yeah,
title, dude.
that is and it was just like a very unofficial, like, well, it was official, but it was like more of a, you know, like a very nice social place for like-minded people who just love video game music to gather. Some of the composers that graduate from school and are a part of that club and now the major are incredibly talented musicians that will become, you know, and are becoming extremely involved in fantastic projects. But, you know, I always wanted to do that. And so my professor reached out to me from Berkeley. She was probably the professor I saw the most in that entire major and sector of Berkeley. She reached out to me on, I think it was also Instagram, and was like, hey, I've been keeping up with what you've been doing, because I graduated back in 2022. She reached out last year, so it had been a bit of time, and she was like, I've been keeping up with what you've been doing, really great stuff. I have this opportunity from Epic Games. They're looking for someone who makes electronic music and pop music and dance music for their projects. And I was like, yeah, send them my way. Absolutely. Give them, like,
just randomly,
Yeah.
just out of the blue message from your teacher going, hey, do you want a job? do you want to work?
And like, that's the best piece of advice, especially to those who are looking to get into like media composition, whether it's film, games, TV, advertisements, whatever it is. You never know when something like that is going to roll across your desk. So for before that, I was just going all in on KERO. I was like, I'm doing private lessons. I'm doing music lectures. I'm, you know, trying to, KERO's my life. This is what I'm going to do. And it was extremely rewarding, but it wasn't as, you know, especially at my size, not as financially dependable as a 24-year-old living in Los Angeles. So I think at the time, you know, they reached out and they were like, we're looking for someone to help us with our music team. And that was what I was telling you guys before, that they were like, do you have any music that you've written in the pop and dance music realm that we would like to hear? And I was initially going to send over like video game stuff that I did back in college, but I was like, you know what? No, that's not what I've been doing lately. And this is the most dance and pop things I have. So I sent
Pull
them,
up the Spotify page.
I did. I sent them like Alive, Crazy for You, Network, Stay Forever, like basically my favorites from my recent discography that I thought were like, you know, the most polished of my work. And I forwarded that over and they were like, we would love to interview you. And here we are.
Oh my.
So it's been it's like most of my day-to-day now is like working at Epic and doing stuff on their audio team. It's been very fast-paced. I've learned so much about a side of the industry that I didn't think I would have my foot in the door in for years. And I still get to work on KERO stuff. So it's in a really good spot. And I think with all of these changes and all of these new, you know, experiences, I think that's what's changing my work in KERO as well. It's changing a lot, and I think that, you know, finding that opportunity came from just the connections I made when I was at school, interestingly enough. So like you never know like where that stuff's going to come from. And I would say that if you're going to be someone in game audio, anyone who's listening to this who wants to do that field at all, I think people think that you have to release, I'm going to say this really kind of generally here, real non-OST music. I think OST music is some of the best music ever made. I'm just saying, like, sometimes people think, oh, I can't put that on Spotify. Like, who would listen to that? don't hold your work. Put it out and try to see what happens, because you might make any sort of name for yourself, and that will get you into so many doors that you don't think it would. Being bold enough to put your own music out and having a Spotify or an Apple Music and a SoundCloud, like having your music out on streaming platforms it adds validity to you taking yourself seriously in that way. And so I got really lucky because I was, the video game guy who makes dance music. That was what I was kind of known for, and that has been very fortunate. And so I think if you just keep all of your music hidden to yourself, and this applies to people who don't want to work in game audio too, like put your music out. At the time I was releasing KERO stuff initially, I was like, this is bad. I don't think this is going to go anywhere, but I want to put it out because I love making music. And lo and behold, things can snowball quicker than you would ever expect if you just take that step. So anybody who's like on the fence about releasing their music because it's not good enough, or you're on version 87, I think it's time for the world to see it. And if it doesn't get the reception that, like millions of plays off first click, that's normal. And that's okay, because then you can learn from that and you will be much more comfortable to release your next song. So like, that's what I always say to people for that. Like, make sure
Amen, dude.
That's a really nice
you get comfortable releasing.
Rap to your story.
That's very inspiring too.
Releasing all of your stuff,
like,
and then it comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, there's people, for instance, I mean, like me, that are starting to get things seriously and stuff. Like, it's very inspiring what you say. So like, really, really, really cool to hear it, dude.
No, absolutely. I'm kind of just saying stuff that I wish I heard when I was like 17, basically. Like,
definitely. Funny, because I am actually 17. This is crazy.
I thought you were 18. What the fuck?
No, I'm still 17.
Now I feel old. How can I be born in the 2000s and feel old? That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah, what were you saying?
No, say your bit, because we usually do an ending segment. So say your final bit, and then we're gonna do this. Yes, it's nearly the end.
I was just gonna say, release your music. If it's done, put it out.
There we go.
Go.
Well, Oswald,
right,
now's your time.
Also, dude,
you can
I'm
say it
back,
finally.
and
You
the
can
only question I've got. Nah, sorry, but like, talking about music and all that. So, for you, for like a personal, on a personal opinion, what's your like favorite music, like your favorite artist, favorite songs, favorite album, favorite projects? What's your current favorite projects out there that you would recommend to people?
He's thinking now. He's got.
Sorry, this is gonna take some thought.
Yeah.
There's people that can't answer the question. I don't know why.
There's so much good music that he just
there
can't.
There is. I want to give people someone that I'm listening to often, and then I want to give someone that is maybe deserving of some more recognition. I think if you're interested in bass music, someone who is making incredible music right now, I would feel remiss if I didn't say that Skybreak was having the best year of his career. Like, genuinely, the stuff that's coming out with Half-Blood, amazing music.
For real, man.
Like, in terms of bass music, that's the most exciting project for me right now. Like, it truly is. And I was lucky enough to hear it, like, a little bit before it was coming out, and hearing, like, the works in progress. Like, it's a fantastic body of work. This whole new era is great. Go check out what he's doing. I would say another person that maybe isn't in the same level of limelight, but is doing incredible stuff. I would say, first of all, listen to the Snowblind remix compilation. All the winners, the people who like won the contest, need a bigger audience. They're doing incredible stuff. Like Modus, Agente, give them their flowers, especially. I would say, in terms of experimental bass music, like stuff that's coming out in the underground that I'm really excited about, Convexity is making the craziest stuff I've ever heard. right now. It doesn't even fit into color base anymore. Like it's kind of its own new thing over here. Really incredible sound design, great musicality. Sharks is doing great stuff there too. If we're looking towards music outside of dubstep, that I think is really interesting. I've been listening to a lot of things like Aries and Breakins. Those two have been making really cool stuff. The Joey Valance and Bray recent work, Hyperyouth's a great album. That's in more of the mainstream category, but again, really great stuff there. If you're into like more modern, like hip hoppy kind of stuff. I think in terms of underground artists, Cosette is somebody I think who's doing really cool work. She's in like the hyperpop space and is starting to get a bit more traction and is making really good music. And it would be wrong of me not to mention, keep an eye out on DNA KM, Donna Kim. She has got some really, I would just say keep an eye out because there's some really cool stuff that isn't out
Watch
yet.
out.
That people are
Can't
really
spoil
excited
anything though.
Exactly.
Can't
So
spoil anything, but keep an ear out.
I'll be
Refresh the
vocal about
SoundCloud
that.
page.
Whenever my friends do stuff, I'll be vocal. I think, yeah. And in terms of game music, Christopher Larkin on Silk Song, oh my god. Fantastic
I
work
need to
there.
play it.
So,
I need to play it.
Yeah.
Actually, oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
we are getting to the end of the episode now. It has absolutely flown by. Now is
It
your
flew by so hard, damn.
now is your time to sort of say anything you want. If you want to shout out anything, you can shout out anything. If you want to, I don't know, do a silly little dance in your
Promote
chair,
yourself.
promote
Or
yourself.
just final message. Yeah.
You can do this now. Here is your space.
I mean, I feel like we could just promote a lot of people. I'm trying to think of who else I should list. Obviously we talked about Chime and the rebrand there, doing great stuff. I would say keep an eye out for, I've got a couple things that I'll be posting about with regards to Fortnite that I had a bit of a heavy hand in helping with that I'm really excited about being in the world. Such a weird career pivot, but
Valid.
I mean, it's not really if you think about it, and that'll be really cool. Yeah, I think whenever I wrap up these sort of interviews or whatever, I think that one of the things I want people to take away is that if you want to hear my old stuff, you can. Just if you're worried about releasing music, see where I started, see what I was making. I never do this because for a while I never told people about it because I was so embarrassed of the music. I actually wiped this off of SoundCloud, so it's only available on Spotify. But
oh my god.
Oh my god.
My
EDM
old
Grid exclusive.
You know what I'll do?
Kind of.
My old alias is I used to go by Trebia. There's like a couple songs on it. I really didn't even release that much. But oh my god, I look a baby.
Oh my god.
I was like 18 in this photo. I'll link it to you so you can see it personally if you want to.
I will be adding this in the description.
Like if you look at the picture, I look so young.
Oh my god.
But basically
what?
There's a couple songs on there where you can tell I was where the KERO began. And I want people to know that, like, put this stuff out. Even if you're really critical of your own work, put this stuff out. You will look back on it with kinder eyes in 5 years. I promise you, having done that right now. It sounds easier to say than it actually is to do because there is that getting over it period. But, like, the world deserves to have your music in whatever state it is in right now because even if it's not at its best, it will teach you to get there. So put your stuff out.
All of the songs and everything as well, they're all going to be in the description, the socials. Go check it out. KERO, amazing artist.
I'm putting myself on blast.
Yeah, you're exposing yourself here.
I think it's worth it. You know what? At this point,
All
after
the current
EU5
socials
remake-
too will be in the description. I think it's good to clarify. Not, you're just gonna have your old alias just blasted in the description, and that's it. Nothing else.
That's so fun.
Exposed for the world to hear. No, everything will be in the
KERO's most
description.
embarrassing songs are also in the description, so check
Yeah.
that out.
Go check him out. He's such an incredible artist. I glaze every artist on here, but it's fully deserved because it is just incredible what you do. Once
I
again,
appreciate that.
my name is Henry, also known as Hank Ray, joined by Oswald, aka Oswald. I say that every time. Great.
It's
Great
part of the
introduction.
episode. So,
Thank you so much, KERO, for joining us on the episode. It's genuinely been such a blast to have you on.
Absolutely. Thank you both. This is a treat.
And we will see you on the next time.